The power of mindset is immense. One of my favorite piece of audio content is a song, I guess, by Steve Angelo, who brought in snippets of a sermon that Reverend T.D. Jakes did. And it's combined with, I guess you'd call it like some dubstep type music, I guess. I'm not very good on my genres. But anyway, it's all about how you fix your mind to solve your problems, how you develop the mindset you need in order to get out of difficult circumstances, and the mindset you need in order to receive blessings that life gives you or that God gives you. And it's fantastic. I listen to it almost daily. I probably could recite the whole thing to you. Anyway, the opening statement is, you have to fix the mind to bestow the blessing. And I love that because it is so, so true. He also talks about if you can get your head out, you can get your mind out, you can get your money out, your family out, your health out, your job out. He talks about all these things in the context of what he's talking about is get them out of whatever bad situation it is. You can fix that situation or those circumstances if you fix your mind first, because then you can receive more, you can be more aware, you can see things differently, you can have different intentions, you can look at opportunity more creatively, all these things. It is hugely, hugely important. A fantastic example, kind of an extreme example, is David Goggins in his book, Can't Hurt Me. I just listened to it on Audible, which was very cool. It's kind of it's an audio book combined with like a little bit of a podcast. So him and his ghostwriter come in and like share additional content and stories and clarification at different points in the audiobook. But basically it's a story of his life and the mindset he had to develop at different stages of his life in order to survive and in order to thrive. Getting out of an abusive home, overcoming self-destructive habits, his military escapades, being a Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, pararescue, all that, ultra running, things like that. And I mean, it's crazy story, very intense book. But he talks about all these different techniques and that he's used over the years to what he calls callous his mind and basically enslave his mind so that he controls the thoughts, he controls the emotions, he can control everything about it so that he can do the things he needs to do. Maybe that's running a 200-mile race or going through Hell Week in BUD/S training for the third time, whatever it may be, overcoming, a health challenge, and how difficult that is and how you need to be super, super intentional. Fantastic. And he also talks a little bit about how that affects other people. So I highly recommend that as far as mindset goes. One of the best mindset books I've ever read. So many good principles in it and extreme examples to showcase that. Speaking of how your mindset can affect other people, T.D. Jakes talks about you can get your family out. Like your mindset, it impacts other people. Doesn't matter what you do or for a job or what status you have in your life, you have influence with other people. And the way that you conduct your life is going to impact other people, whether you like it or not. And it could be, and it's probably a lot more, I know for a fact it's a lot more people than you think it is. There are a lot more people that watch you than you realize, and that you are a role model too, or that they model themselves after to some degree. So David Goggins talks a little bit about that as well. An example of that I heard recently was of a gentleman who was a contractor and to provide for his family, odd job, stuff like that. Started early on when he was like in high school, and he just would never say no to a job. Oh, you want to paint a house? Oh, cool. I can do that, even if you'd never painted a house before. Oh, you want to do flooring? Okay, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. He would just never say no. Well, as he got older, became an adult, he ended up becoming a minister. And that same mindset followed him, that he could never say no. Well, how that cultivated was that he had to be the solution to everybody's problem, or he had to have the answer to everybody's problem. In that context, that's not a good thing. That's a very very dangerous mindset to have. And he developed the mindset that he either was lying to people, or he had to develop the mindset of I do truly know everything, and had to believe that in order to help these people out and in order to build his congregation. And what ended up happening is he ended up essentially developing a little cult, because everybody was going to him for all the answers, and he had to have the answers, even if that's not what the Bible said. So they basically started cherry picking the Bible and fitting whatever fit his narrative or fit was a solution to their problem, even if it wasn't biblically based. So now he wasn't teaching from the Bible. It was his own wisdom and justice and everything like that. Well, that ended up turning into a very poisonous and toxic environment full of victimization. They also developed to be hostile towards people who would try and leave the congregation. And there's hundreds of people that are directly involved with this cult, aka church, but it's a cult, really. And they are affected, and their lives are getting destroyed because of one man who chose to not address the insecurity of saying no. And then he developed the mindset of, well, he kind of developed a God complex. And now there are hundreds of people that are affected by that, which really means there's thousands of people that are affected by that, because that affects the families. And like I just said, everybody affects people to some degree. So because of that one man's decision to develop the mindset the way he did, there are now thousands of people that are being dragged down into this victimized mentality in some way, shape, or form. Very, very powerful. The way that you decide to live your life, the way that you decide to develop your mind, it can be used either way. Now, someone like David Goggins, the way that he's developed his mindset now with where he's at in life, now he's speaking to people all over the country, maybe even all over the world. His book is impacting hundreds, if not thousands of people in a positive way to uplift people into a place of bettering themselves, bettering their mindset, and thinking of how they can think outside of themselves. Whereas this other guy is thinking of, how do I save face? How do I become the answer for everybody so that, look at me, I'm amazing, and it's bringing down thousands of people? See the difference? See how powerful that is, the decisions and the mindset that one person takes? Kind of a less heavy example is Roger Bannister, kind of a classic example. It was in like May of 54, something like that. Up to that point, nobody had ever run a mile in under 4 minutes, and Roger Bannister was the first one to run a recorded mile in under 4 minutes. And the mindset he had to take in order to accomplish that was tremendous. And everyone else, we can't run a mile, and within I don't remember the time frame, but within a very short time frame after that, there were several other people that ran under a 4 minute mile. And it was because the people, us as a world, the people in the running sphere worldwide, had it in their mind that it was impossible to run a mile in under 4 minutes. It was a mental block that had been developed and that we believed. And Roger Bannister broke that, because he went, who says I can't run a mile? I'm only competing against myself. Went and did it. So mindset is incredibly, incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. The way that you think about yourself, the way that you process, the way that you're aware, it addresses everything. Self-awareness, self-imaging. It's tremendous, tremendous. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Think of ways that, you limit yourself or limit your mindset. Really look inwards, because that's really the first step with developing a new mindset, is really identifying the things in your life that are hindering your mindset, that are hindering you in life. What are those things, and why are those things there? What they're most likely, it's due to a violation that happened a long time ago, a boundary violation. Maybe somebody said something to you. Maybe somebody did something to you. Maybe you experienced a certain set of events and weren't equipped to process it. It's going to be hard, but I highly encourage you to look inward and go, why do I do things this way? Why do I think things this way? Where does that stem from? Do I really believe that? Chances are you'll probably find some stuff that are rooted in your mind, but you believe them, but you know that they're not true, if that makes sense. Anyway, I encourage you to do that. Be curious also to see what your results are.